Hello bookworms! Today I'm going to be sharing my September book haul. I have a lot of books. I did better last month. I didn't do as well this month. That's fine. I'm going to start with special editions. So first of all, I got my Illumicrate edition of A Dark and Drowning Tide by Allison Saft. This was their September book of the month, and I am so in love with this edition. I think this is so pretty. The pages look like watery, and then this is the back cover. I did not realize that this book was like fantasy too. I thought it was just dark academia. So I'm like even more excited to read this now than I was before. The naked hardcover is like an iridescent, like pearlized kind of sheen. And there's also foiling, which I love on a hardcover. This is the US original cover. And then this, amazing, love that end paper, and same for the other side. So once I saw that, I was like, I'm like so much more excited to read this book than I initially thought that I was. It's also signed by Allison Saft. Allison Saft is an author where I now own 3 of her books, and I have yet to read any of them. So I really need to get on that. The other ones I have are A Far Wilder Magic, which I have a feeling will be my favorite. And then I also have A Fragile Enchantment and now this one. So I'm not really sure where I'm going to start, but I am so intrigued by this, and I just think it is so beautiful. Next up, I have the Fairy Loot edition of When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This is a book that I really want to get to by the end of the year. It's like for sure one that I know I just need to read. Obviously, love anything with dragons. This is the end paper. I feel like this book has been getting so much hype, so I really do want to get to it and see if I enjoy it, see if I'll be needing to pick up the sequel. And again, just like really a super, super beautiful edition, and I love the sprayed pages. Then I have the Owl Crate edition of The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. Has red sprayed pages. It matches their edition that they did for Serpent and the Wings of Night. And on these, it's the end papers that I love most of all. This one we've got some reverse dust jacket artwork, a really lovely naked hardcover. Again, I just love foiling. And then the end papers, amazing. Like, that's beautiful. And same thing on the other side. Avon Books was kind enough to send me the new editions of Bridgerton, and these are just so spectacularly beautiful. I love how they look together. Like, they're all just so pretty and so vibrant. Each book collects 2 of the novels in the series. So this first one is The Duke and I and the Viscount Who Loved Me. It's this gorgeous, gorgeous green. We've got a gorgeous spine, gorgeous back, and then bright pink pages. So pretty. And some very vibrant end papers. And it's also signed by Julia Quinn. Then we've got the second collection, which is An Offer from a Gentleman and Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. And this one has green pages. And again, it's just so lovely, and again, very vibrant end papers. Is this one signed too? No. Okay, so it's only the first book in the series that's signed. Then we have To Sir Philip with Love and When He Was Wicked. So this is Eloise and Francesca's books. Again, just so, like, everything about these is just so pretty and bright. And finally, It's in His Kiss and On the Way to the Wedding with bright blue pages. I'm so, so thankful that they sent these to me. I really, really love them, blue pages. And yeah, I've actually been making a point to try to finish the Bridgerton series by the end of the year. I just read the 5th book last month, and I have the 6th book out from the library now. So I'm determined to finish before the end of the year. Then I have the gorgeous Afterlight edition of The Breakup Pact by Emma Lord. This is Emma's first adult romance. I'm really excited to read it because I've really enjoyed her YA books, but this one is just stunning. It is the perfect color combination, and I believe that the book takes place in a tea shop. It's just so pretty. It's like so springy. Mint green and pink used to be my favorite color combination of all time when I was younger. So it's kind of like making me nostalgic for that. This is the naked hardcover, which is so pretty. And then the end papers, I love them. I don't even know what this is about, but it looks like there's like some kind of gossip newspaper. So it seems like something that I am very much going to enjoy. Then I have 2 books from LitJoy Crate. So I got the special editions of Fablehaven and Rise of the Evening Star, which is the second book in the Fablehaven series. So I'll start off by showing you Fablehaven. It's kind of hard to see, I think. It's even kind of hard to see like in person, but it's actually like embossed faux leather, so I'm not really sure if you could see the design, but there's like it says Society of the Evening Star, and there's like all of these like symbols and stuff, and then it has gold gilded pages. Also has really pretty end papers, but it's like very whimsical. No one has really done special editions of Brandon Mull books, so it's also signed by Brandon Mull. So I was pretty excited to get these. I read the first book. This is the second one. I read the first book like many years ago, and I never ended up continuing, but I do want to do so, especially since Keeper of the Lost Cities seems to be coming to an end, and I'm gonna need a new cozy middle grade series to enjoy. So yeah, I'm very excited to have these. I have the next two pre-ordered as well, and then there's one more after that that'll come at some point in the future. Then I have kind of a surprising purchase. So if you know me, you'll know that I do not like werewolves. However, I feel like there's always an exception to the rule. And if there were to be an exception, that exception would be TJ Klune. So I ended up getting the Barnes & Noble exclusive editions of Wolf Song and Raven Song. And then I have the third and fourth ones pre-ordered. They come out sometime next year. These are paperbacks. They're really pretty. They have sprayed pages, spines, and then the backings. I believe this is a YA series about werewolves, and it's like a love story. It's a fantasy. I've heard incredible things about it, and I really want to start reading these, probably on ebook from the library, but I'm pretty excited to finally have these, and I really hope that I'm gonna like them. Next up, I have City of Glass by Cassandra Clare. Walker, I think it's Walker Books, released the next book in the series. They've been doing these like special editions of the Mortal Instrument series, and I really like the spines. I really like these editions a lot, so I've been collecting these for my shelves, and I finally just got this one. I imagine book 4 will be coming out next summer. These are the end papers. They're not signed or anything, but I do think that they look really good next to like the Waterstones editions of the later books in the Shadowhunter world. I've been sold on these, and I started getting them, so I have to just keep going. Next up, I got this package in the mail from Del Rey, so I figured I would just kind of like open and unbox it right now. I already know what it is, and I think you probably saw the book sticker on there, but I've been really highly anticipating this book, and I'm really excited to have a physical copy. Let's see. Ooh, okay, so we have a spellograph, which is very pretty. We also have this really cool artwork, which I could see myself using in a bullet journal in the future. Ooh, then we have a really pretty map. This is the city where the story takes place. Some chocolate, which I'll probably eat the second I finish this video. Oh, that's fun. Some like tabs for annotating. And finally, the book, and that is Blood Over Bright Haven by M.L. Wang. M.L. Wang is the author of The Sword of Kaigan, and this is her next standalone novel. This is a dark academia novel. It's the perfect read for fall. I'm so excited to read this one. It has red sprayed pages. It was originally independently published, but it got picked up by Del Rey, and the first print run is going to have these red pages, so if you're interested in getting that, you might want to pre-order a copy, because I can't imagine that it'll be around for long. There's nothing below the dust jacket, but it does again have that really pretty map on the end papers. Oh, and it does also have that spellograph in here as well. I've been really highly anticipating this one, so thank you so much, Del Rey, for sending this my way. And then speaking of Random House, they also sent me a copy of Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. This is another book where like I want to read this ASAP. It is a romantasy novel. It has dragons. It's gotten glowing reviews, and I'm so excited to read this one. It's also not that long, which is always kind of nice to see, but it's really just like very beautifully done, and it is the first in a series. Again, we have a really beautiful map, and I actually kind of like the naked hardcover. I think the foiling looks really nice. Then back to a special edition. So my Kickstarter copy of Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocchio finally arrived. I'm pretty sure this is from like a year and a half ago that I ordered it. They kept having like mishaps with a lot of their printing, and like they got stuck behind the Brandon Sanderson queue, so they got put off for so long because obviously a printer is going to prioritize Brandon Sanderson, and then there was like a printing error, so things had to be set back, so it was just like delay after delay after delay, but it finally arrived. It is really pretty in person. It has red sprayed pages. It's actually like very heavy. I'm one of the people that got it without a slipcase, so that's why my copy arrived already. They shipped those ones first. This is the end paper, and then I really love the naked hardcover. It's like faux leather bound essentially. The end paper on the other side is the same, and I do believe it is signed. There's like interior artwork throughout the book, and it is signed by Christopher, so I have copy number 508. They're also numbered. Has a map. Like, this is a really, really nice edition. Unfortunately, I did not like book 2 in the series, so I'm kind of thinking that I'm not going to get that one when it goes up for sale. Like, I don't even think I'm going to continue reading the series, to be honest, and I didn't order the broken binding editions. You know, it was good. It saved me money, but it was unfortunate because I loved book 1 so much, and then I just like really didn't like care for book 2. I also got my first box from Aardvark Book Club. They were kind enough to send this to me for free. They asked for like what kind of genres I liked, and I said that I was interested in a lot of like fall themed things. So they sent me some of their picks, and they definitely sent some good ones my way. I did like an unboxing video on, not this is YouTube, on Instagram. I made a reel actually. I'd never do that. I think I've made 3 reels in my life. I want to get better at that. I'm just like, I don't know, I'm just not good at it, but I'm trying. So first up, they sent me A Dark and Drowning Tide by Alison Saft. So I now have 2 copies of this book. So I really, really hope that I end up liking it. This is the US edition, and then it also has the Aardvark sticker on it. It's not like a sticker, it's actually like printed on the cover, like kind of how like Book of the Month does that. So you know which ones are your Aardvark editions, and same thing on the naked hardcover. I do like this lilac, and I like the lilac foiling on the spine. Next, they sent me Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. I'm so excited to read this book. This is a horror novel, and it's very like 80s. I think it takes place in like Florida. Obviously, like looks very Florida with this color scheme that they've got going on, but I think it follows like a movie producer or something, and it sounds really good. It's gotten pretty good reviews. It's also actually rather short, but this feels like a very good read for fall. I've been really enjoying like some horror novels, and I have really high hopes for this one. And then the last book in the box was Mistress of Lies. This is by K.M. Enright, and this is a book about vampires. I don't really know too much about it. I do know that it's a new fantasy novel, and I have been really intrigued by this one. So I'm excited to read this and see how I feel about it. And then there's the aardvark on the naked hardcover. So very much looking forward to reading all 3 of these books. So thank you, Aardvark. Okay, I feel like my camera is going to cut off again, but let's just try to sneak more in. So first up, I got an edition of Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice. I've actually never read this book, and I feel like that's kind of like a gaping like hole in my literary history, because as someone who really loves vampires, it feels like quintessential to read this book, and I just haven't done it, so I really want to, and that's why I picked this one up. I also just like love this gold cover. I think it's so pretty. It's gold metallic, so gorgeous. And then the naked hardcover just has AR for Anne Rice, and the spine is really pretty. It also has deckled edges. I feel like I haven't gotten a deckled edged book in a really long time. It's probably because sprayed pages are so popular now. Gotta love a deckled edge. Then I got the anniversary edition of Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. I read this when I was in middle school, so it's been a really long time since that happened. I would like to give it a reread, and I also did want to just have like a copy for my collection. Again, I really love the gold foiling. I think it's really pretty. That's the spine and the back, just plain. Oh my gosh, this one also has a deckled edge. Huh, 2 in a row. Then I have House of Beating Wings by Olivia Wildenstein. This is a romantasy novel. I've also heard good things about the series. I'm not sure how many books there are that are currently out, but I do think that there are quite a few of them. It was originally independently published, got picked up by Source Books, which I think is Bloom. They did it with these green pages, so decided to grab a copy. We'll see if I like it, and I'm hopeful that they'll do the same thing for the next books in the series if I do end up wanting to continue. I think there's fairies. Then, in the same vein, I have Sentinel by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This one was republished by Bloom. It has blue spray pages, and this is actually the last book in the Covenant series, and I really like Jennifer L. Armentrout's like older like YA series, so I'm excited to read this one. It's one that I haven't gotten to yet, but a lot of my friends really like it, so I'm pretty sure that I'm going to end up loving it too. And I already have the rest of the books in the series, so now I can binge read all of these. This is one of the many ones that I had pre-ordered when Barnes & Noble did one of their like pre-order sales. Then I have Graveyard Shift by ML Rio. I've been so highly anticipating this book. I love ML Rio so much. If We Were Villains is one of my favorite books ever, and I'm really excited to see what is next. It's been so long since she's published something outside of that short story that was in These Hollowed Halls. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one. It's a novella, so it's very, very short, and it's probably going to be like a nice, like cozy weekend read for me at some point in the near future. Then I have Buried Deep by Naomi Novik. This is a collection of short stories, and this was sent to me by the publisher, so thank you so much to Random House. I'm really looking forward to reading this. I really like Naomi Novik's fantasy. I have not read her Temeraire series. I was not a fan. I didn't finish reading the Scholomance series, so I can't really speak to those, but I do love Uprooted very, very much, so I'm excited to see if there's like a short story set in that world, and it's also going to give us a look at what's coming next from Naomi Novik, so I'm really excited to read that as well. And this is really pretty. It's very smooth, but the cover design like makes it look textured, so like it almost looks like a cloth bound book, but it's not. It's like... Then I have 2 books that I read from the library and loved, so I ended up buying physical copies. The first one is The September House by Carissa Orlando. You'll hear me talk about this in my September wrap up if it's not already posted, but really, really loved this horror novel. And the same thing goes for Slooh Foot, A Tale of Bewitchery by Brahm. This was just so excellent and so wonderful. Like, it's such a great autumnal read. I loved it, so I had to have a copy for my collection. Then before I move into my kind of large romance stack, I got these 3 tins of Goosebump books. So each tin I think has 5 books in it, like, and they went back to doing the original cover art from the Goosebumps books. And I thought that it would be really fun to collect these, and when my nephew gets a little bit older, have him read them, because this is the first series that I really remember like loving, and is definitely responsible for like why I am such a big reader today. Also probably why I enjoy horror and everything like that. So these were like really pivotal for me, and I hate the new covers, so I'm so excited that they re-released them with the original covers, because the original cover art is so good. So I don't know if there's any like rhyme or reason to why they put certain books in certain tins. I don't know like the order. There's 62 books in total for the full series, so I am hoping that they will re-release all of them. This is the first tin. It has Night of the Living Dummy, Welcome to Horrorland. These are so thin. Why do I remember these being like a little bit longer? The Haunted Mask, Welcome to Dead House, and of course, Say Cheese and Die. These are so thin, and I like remember these being longer. Maybe I'll reread these. I could probably reread like 5 of these in a day. I wonder if they hold up or if they're not good. Either way, I loved them and I had very fond memories of them. Then we have this next tin here. So this one has The Werewolves of Fever Swamp. Oh, maybe I didn't like that book. Maybe that's why I don't like werewolves. Stay Out of the Basement. This one I remember pretty vividly. Piano Lessons Can Be Murder, which is just a really funny title. The Haunted School, and The Cuckoo Clock of Doom. And then this is the final tin that I have. I also have one pre-ordered that doesn't come out until like next July, so I've got a bit of time on that one. So we've got Legend of the Lost Legend, which feels a little bit repetitive. The Beast from the East, A Night in Terror Tower. I remember this cover and feeling like this cover was pretty scary when I was young. We've got Why I'm Afraid of Bees, and of course Monster Blood. I remember loving Monster Blood, so I think this one I'm definitely gonna have to reread. So yeah, so what's that? So I have like 15 of them now, and there's 62, so I feel like it'll be a long time before all of them are out, but I'm hopeful that they'll release like a couple of tins per year so it doesn't take forever. All right, and now I have a pretty big pile of romance novels. So first up, Dell Romance sent me a copy of Fang Fiction by Kate Stayman London, and I'm so excited to read this because I loved Kate's first book, which was The One to Watch. It was basically like a romance, but it was like the female main character was like a plus size character on a show that was basically like The Bachelorette, and it was such a fun read. Like I really enjoy reality TV, so I really enjoyed reading that romance. And now in this one, our main character is obsessed with this book called like Blood Feud that's all about vampires. And then she finds out that it's like actually real, and she has to go to the like this island and help main like vampire who's the love interest who she loves escape. And it sounds like so much fun. So they sent me this and also this really cool like bookmark that looks like blood dripping, so I'll put it in here so you can see what it looks like. So it looks like blood is dripping on your book. So I just thought that was very fun. And then while I'm talking about Dell, they also sent me Primetime Romance by Kate Robb. And this is another one that is a reality TV kind of romance. It seems like the main character loves a show that is like very similar to Dawson's Creek. So she's like having a hard time in her actual life. And then she loves the show, like I said, like Dawson's Creek, but it's called Carson's Cove. So she gets a birthday cake and she wishes for a happy ending on this show where the two main characters like never got to declare their love for each other. And then the next morning when she wakes up, she's not in her apartment. She's in Carson's Cove and all of the characters from the TV show are there. And it sounds like it's going to be really fun. Then I have Daydream by Hannah Grace. This is the third book in the Maple Hills series. I believe it's the final book, which is so unfortunate because I just love this group of friends and their whole like college experience. I think it's so much fun. The first book I think is still my favorite, but I've heard really good things about this third one. I think this third one is like a bit more serious than the first and second ones. I also really love that the main character is wearing the folklore cardigan on this cover. I think that's so much fun. And I have this on hold at the library, so I'm really hoping that it comes in very soon, the ebook, so that I can read it. I'm like dying to know what's gonna happen next. Then I got the Pumpkin Spice Cafe and the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. These are books 1 and 2 in the Dream Harbor quartet, and they're both small town romances. I talked about Pumpkin Spice Cafe in my September wrap up. I don't think it deserves as much hype as people are giving it, but you can't deny that these are just the cutest covers ever. And I really like that there's actually foiling on the second book. I think that's a lot of fun. I'm definitely going to continue with the series because it's just like fun and like very easy to read. But I would say it's not like the best thing that I've ever read, but it's fun. Then I have Morbidly Yours by Ivy Fairbanks, and this follows a character who goes to, I think she goes to like Ireland. She goes to Galway in Ireland and is basically going on like a blind date with this guy who doesn't really want to go on a date, but in order to inherit his family's undertaking business, there's like one like stipulation and it's that he has to be married before he's 35. So that's why he's like going on this date, and sounds cute. It also sounds fun for fall. Then I have Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. This is the second book in the Rose Hill series, and I think that each of these is a single dad romance and it's also a cowboy romance. I've really enjoyed Elsie's books that I've read so far, and I will just continue to keep buying everything that she puts out. Funny story about this book. So if you'll see like down here, I don't know like how close you can see, but it looks like it's like smudged. And Elsie had to actually say on her Instagram stories, like, please don't go to stores looking for a book that isn't smudged. That is the design of the book. It's supposed to look a little bit weathered. And it's even in like the PDF mock-up of it. But a lot of people got their books and thought like, oh no, I got a book that is like kind of dirty and went to return it. But that's not the case. That's how they're supposed to look. Then I got Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood. This is another one that I feel like is going to be really good for the fall season. I just like love this cover so much. I think it's so pretty. The UK cover is also really, really beautiful. I was pretty torn between which one to get, but I ended up going for the US edition. This is a cozy novel about a witch named Belladonna Blackthorn, and I really like don't even want to know anything else. I just want to read it. And I also wish that I could live in this cover. Then going backward a little bit, I have Summer Fridays by Suzanne Rindell. This I actually got in August and I forgot to show it in my book haul, and I also didn't get a chance to read it before summer ended, so in all likelihood I'm going to end up just saving this book for next summer because I'm definitely in fall mode and I'm not really up for a summer book at this point. Then I have 4 Weekends and a Funeral by Ellie Palmer. This was like a little bit of a cover buy. I really like the look of this and it's gotten really good reviews. It's a romance. It follows a character who goes to her ex-boyfriend's funeral, but it turns out that nobody there knows that he dumped her, so she ends up just kind of like playing along and pretending that they were still dating, and it sounds like there will be some shenanigans that go along with that. And then the last 2 books that I have to show you were both kindly sent to me from Berkeley Romance, and they're both holiday romances, so I'm already like looking ahead to Christmas season. The first one is Make the Season Bright by Ashley Herring Blake. This looks so cute and I just fell in love with this cover, so I knew that I like immediately needed it. This one follows 2 exes who are stuck together at the same house on Christmas. One of them's a classical musician and one of them was like in a rock band but has recently been kicked out, and they both find themselves at the same Christmas dinner and have a feeling that they're going to rekindle their romance. And it's also sapphic romance. And then lastly, I have Love You Alatka by Amanda Elliott. This one is a Hanukkah romance and we are following Abby, who owns a bakery, And it's kind of funny because it's a grumpy sunshine romance, but it seems like the male character is the sunshine character and the female is the grumpy character. So it'll be kind of fun to see that trope a bit like flipped on its head. And again, looks very good for a holiday read. Okay, so those are all of the books that I got in September, which is a lot of books. I'm excited to read all of the ones that I haven't. And yeah, I have to update my TBR spreadsheet. I'm probably not gonna like the new number, but it is what it is. Let me know some of the books that you got in October, and also let me know some of the books that are like your top priority books to read before the end of the year, because I feel like I have TBR on the mind at this point. But that's all that I have for this video, so I will see you guys soon in a new one. Bye!